Yeah, he had a great run, and it's fun to watch. I think I watched Indiana State and Iowa. Caitlin Clark play about the same.
You called her garbage compared to Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I've been watching from afar and understanding just how much of a power.
Its peers, like Larry Bird, openly disparaged Angel Reese by asserting that Clark is better and that, honestly, her career is over.
Caitlin Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the three, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel Reese.
The fact that he has publicly praised Caitlin Clark shows how different this youngster is from Ree. Ree needs to become aware of her whereabouts and catch up.
In practice, so I don't think you could ever get a better team.
In fact, Caitlin Clark was essentially proclaimed the superior player by the legendary Celtic star Mr. Cool. Like the buzzer for the NBA Finals, Twitter went into overdrive, with users behaving as if Angel Reese had just been banned from the basketball throne for good. The sports world is still in shock after the shock. It's the ultimate clapback, but why is everyone behaving like it's not? Who knew Larry Bird had so much more to say?
The way that she plays and her range and the level of difficulty on her.
Then, like the greatest Bird supporting hype man, Steph Curry takes over. Clark goes above and beyond Reese's declaration with his characteristic fluidity. Steph is admiring Clark's shooting range as if she has a cheat code that allowed her to blast threes from spots Curry can only dream about.
Game, she's racking up, close to triple doubles every night, and her shooting ability is.
Fact that Steph basically said that watching Clark is must-see TV is a tactful way of expressing, "You're playing second fiddle." Clark is stacking triple doubles as though it were a leisurely hobby, not merely throwing up shots. If Curry and Bird agree, why should Reese continue to show up in court? Curry's support shows that the big dogs understand who is in command here, since it's a standing ovation rather than only a nod.
There's that, and so it's must-see TV, and I love what it is done for women's basketball in terms of.
Clark is so skilled that he is altering the basketball regulations. With her amazing range, court vision, and triple-double nights, she is the main attraction, packing houses and shutting out her critics. The limelight that radiates from Steph's compliments is so powerful that it almost blinds Reese's camp. It's not all hype.
Yeah, but I think it almost robs her of the rest of her game because she's such a good floor,
Like Bird and Curry are proving that this kind of love is more about surrender than it is about debate. While Reese is still figuring out how to keep the clear message that second best has no place at the top. How long before HS bows out and admits that Clark is the legitimate heir?
I never thought you could ever have a better teammate than ML because he was the guy that would tell you if you wasn't practicing hard.
With his hustle and ability to throw jabs, this sharp Clark's statement that the finest teammates are those who work hard and never give up might as well be about him. The humiliation of Larry Bird is about respect, not simply numbers. It is well known that Birds value hard work and hustling. Bird says more than just that Clark is better. He says that Clark is everything. Is Reese really capable of having the kind of work ethic that even Bird admires?
In timeouts, somebody wouldn't be playing well, and he just tell the coach in front of everybody, say, "Look, coach, you're not getting the effort."
Bird is regarded as one of the most competitive players in the game due to his unwavering work ethic and high standards for his teammates. In addition to his skill as a scorer, it's not surprising that Bird is so impressed with Caitlin Clark's hustle when he talks about effort, since he is the kind of guy who demands every player on the floor to give it their all every single night.
Would like to play. I will give you all the effort.
I've watched a lot of B, and it seems like Clark would be a great fit for Bird's well-known statement that the best teammates are those that hold themselves accountable and challenge their teams to improve. She works hard and consistently shows up with heart, not just creating plays and draining threes. Bird is aware that it takes more than simply long-range shooting. It also requires perseverance, sweat, and hard work. I've seen a lot of B because I watched Iowa and Indiana State play pretty much the same last season. It's a jab at anyone who doubts Clark's skills, which clearly lands in Angel Reese's camp. Where criticism from a legend like Bird, who praises her entire package, hurts the most, it's a challenge that cannot be ignored, not merely a statement. How much longer can Angel remain calm when Bird's teammates clearly don't care about her? For instance, did you witness the young woman arrive when she was knocked down? Instead of running to her rescue, she went over there And Tim Hardaway didn't hesitate and strode directly into the Firebird, illuminated. According to Hardaway, his viewpoint was more than just a comment. It was a blazing spotlight on the tension that was seething behind the scenes. As you said, this young woman's sole pastime is playing basketball and having fun, and the media has elevated her to a level that is incomprehensible to others. There is more to the story than just two athletes on the court. Clark, according to Hardaway, is the adult superstar in the room who remains composed in spite of the trivial drama going on around her. I see this as nothing more than animosity toward this young lady. His remarks demonstrate that Clark is not only surpassing her competitors but also outclassing them in every manner. The last call to action comes last. There is now division on the floor, as some players appear incapable of managing Clark's burgeoning star. In order to avoid losing the respect of the basketball community, Reese's team must learn how to protect its star. Community, this is about more than simply loyalty. It's about surviving in a world where respect isn't solely given for skill. Will the team behind Reese stand by their star, or let envy destroy their chances? Although many hold her in high regard, you still need to support your teammate, while some may continue to cling to outdated loyalties or choose to downplay Clark's abilities. Hardaway's remarks support the notion that Clark's domination isn't a fleeting trend but rather a sign of the tide turning. The truth is obvious to those who are listening. Bird's subtle gestures are amplified by Hardaway's caustic comments, which lead to the basketball greats agreeing that Clark is superior to Ree and her fans on all fronts, not just on paper. This is a signal that the focus is changing and that ignoring it will simply draw more attention, not just a challenge to do better. Clark is respected for his skill, composure, and relentless work ethic. The answer is no. You don't. Analysis, it's hard to believe, but you know the game has changed when the best basketball voices start to take sides. Will Clark's star continue to rise unchallenged, or will Reese's crew be able to manage the pressure? You're all petty chicks, LeBron, and you're totally right about these girls who are making fun of Caitlin Clark. Charles Barkley then swiftly reiterates Bird's point while highlighting all of the little controversy around Clark. Barkley lacks patience and has a straightforward style. He sarcastically makes fun of the petty women who are trying to undermine Clark out of jealousy, pointing out that it is Clark who is genuinely advancing women's basketball and providing it with financial recognition. Give her flowers and consider what she has done. Barkley's point is very clear. Quit whining and begin appreciating Clark's contributions to the game. Clark deserves flowers, he reminds everyone, and if you can't see that, maybe you're too focused on being petty to realize the full impact. By portraying Clark as a game changer who is compelling even the skeptics to back off and acknowledge her as a legitimate player, Barkley's condemnation of the haters only serves to fan the flames. She is generating all of the revenue and promoting the WNBA. Cut through the clamor and placed Clark in her correct station, shining brightly on the stage. Trying to criticize someone who is doing well at everything is exhausting, isn't it? Caitlin Clark's predicament cannot be made worse by NBA fans. Legends Charles Barkley and Bill Simmons are not having any of it. They see through the hype and call out the drama for what it is, even if the Clark-Reese dispute turned into one of the most overhyped media circus events we've seen in a long time. It's a perfect storm that only makes Larry Bird's remarks more sensational. People don't like you or your personality. Therefore, they tried to make them believe what we say on TV. According to them, the media relies on making things seem more dramatic than they actually are. A simple simile into a real battlefield, whereas Reese's camp seems to be stuck in pointless back and forth. Clark keeps her head down and lets her game speak for itself. This girl is incredible. That degree of unspoken professionalism is a sharp contrast that heightens the rivalry's I've never noticed it before, but it's funny how the voices that are loudest often come from the weakest places. Barkley and Simmons ridicule the critics, not only out of jealousy but also because their actions highlight Clark's sophistication and maturity. The final word in this tale, Shaquille O'Neal, completes the picture with his trademark combination of awe and blunt candor. On the other hand, she is performing actions that we have never witnessed before, and I have never witnessed someone perform them on a regular basis. Shaq admits that he was first dubious, but he changed his mind after seeing Clark make three-pointers from places that even Steph Curry wouldn't dare try. Curry seems like a child still learning the ropes as he raves about her shooting range, as if she were some kind of shooting god. Because, yeah, I'm down. I was a hater. She's not going to hit that shot, she said, and then she added, damn, If I say it 10 times, she won't hit that shot. But Clark is indisputable due to his clutch shots, fearless demeanor, and unwavering confidence, which go beyond distance. When even Shaq is sold, his praise feels like the last piece of the puzzle, putting everything into perspective. In the realm of basketball, you know that this isn't just hype, buzzing, and it was Larry Bird's comment that set the flames on fire when Shaq was convinced that there was no use in fighting if all you have to say for Caitlyn was that you had no basketball experience or chemistry with the group you listed, and that it would have been a great marketing opportunity. This is where it gets really fascinating, since I don't want to hear it. In actuality, Caitlyn Clark's appealing appearance is what attracts attention to her on social media, despite some people's attempts to argue that her success was entirely the result of her marketing. This was pointed out severely by Stephen A. Smith, who said, "If your only argument for Clark is that she's good at marketing, then please spare us the nonsense. Buzz does not play basketball. Okay, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their attention, and they're not as talented. We're not putting the best team out." I think this is a mockery of the women's game because the WNBA ultimate goal is more than just selling tickets or gaining Instagram followers. You're actually hurting yourself when you say that Clark isn't skilled enough. Putting the greatest players on the court is the main goal. If players are selected only on the basis of their marketability rather than their skill, the league might even suffer more. No matter how well-known or up-and-coming they are, you want to include the greatest players in order to develop the game. Therefore, why do some people still focus on marketing when talent is evident on the scoreboard? Since then, Caitlyn Clark has been unanimously chosen as the Rookie of the Year. He topped the league in assists and came in fourth in the MVP voting. She has been busy refuting the Clark's just hype argument, if you believed it to be true. Clark finished fourth in the MVP voting, earned Rookie of the Year, and consistently led the league in assists. These are clear indications that she is more than a fleeting trend, not participation awards. Diana Taurasi was formerly criticized by many for not proving herself in the WNBA, but now that she is competing in the Olympics, she has proven herself. The Taurasi when she was on the team, even her harshest detractors had to concede. And let's not even discuss the chaos that surrounded the Olympic squad. Compared to Clark Diana, a few of the guards who made the cut had less impressive stats. The Taurasi, it seems as though old guard prejudices and politics determined who was admitted rather than who was dominating the court. Prior to the Olympics, Clark outperformed a legend, while Chelsea Gray barely played due to injury, but Clark was left off the team. Now for the eye roll. If you overlook the fact that Caitlyn Clark was statistically outperforming many of the team's veterans, some people said she lacked experience and team cohesion, which seems like a even though Clark is one of the greatest basketball players of all time, Stephen A. and Shannon noted that basketball was never the cause of her removal from the squad. Obvious, although Caitlyn Clark was outperforming many of the guards who were chosen, she was still scoring more than many of them at the time, averaging 16 points per game. So the chemistry argument was more smoke than fire. In reality, people are frightened by Clark's explosive approach because it challenges the status quo. However, some fans clung to their old favorites and downplayed her skills, even saying that Clark was only ordinary, instead of welcoming a new superstar. She was scoring 16 points a game at the time, which was more than many guards who qualified for the Olympics. So 5 points per game was complete bullshit. When the rookie is already proving everyone wrong, why do people condemn him? Caitlyn Clark is receiving praise from Tim Hardaway and Steph Curry. Angel Reese really ought to stop imagining herself as Clark. Do you concur? If so, kindly leave your thoughts in the space provided for comments below. Subscribe to this channel to get started.